Hi, my name is Coach Chris, and I'm here with several members of our FTC Robotics program to talk to you about this year's season. So what did you all expect when you came to your first meeting? What did you think robotics was going to be all about?
I expected robotics was going to be about like coding and building and that stuff.
I didn't know I was going to be in robotics because I was put into it, but I didn't expect much. I thought it was going to be really fun, but it ended up being like extremely fun. I expected the first meeting to be just about like talking about robotics in general, which did happen, and yeah.
Like Dexter, I expected it just to be building and coding, but when I came in, there was also the business team, which really connected the entire group together.
I definitely didn't expect for so much people because past years there weren't as much.
What are some of the things that you remember about early in the season? What kind of things did you do to get started?
We played Cahoots for a couple of weeks at the beginning. It was just reviews about what we were learning about. That's what I did.
And it also helped us to understand some of the rules of like what dimensions does the robot have to be, what's allowed, what isn't.
We also formed teams by splitting everyone up into like 3 subgroups that would make their own teams, and then those 3 subgroups would all have coders, builders, and business people.
Yeah. In the first couple of weeks, I remember taking groups where we learned the rules of the game, and I remember like beginning to learn how to code because I knew nothing coming in. So, learned basics. That.
We had Mr. Peterson come in, an engineer from Ford Motor Company, and he taught us about how we can have failure as part of success and how we can learn from it.
What were your first impressions of your coaches?
They were very nice.
Yeah,
They were pretty good. They're pretty cool.
They were coaches.
They were
They
coaches.
seemed to know a lot about what they were doing.
Yeah, and they seemed to like good at like coding, building, and business. All of those. Like
Well, I
one for
mean-
each of those.
You know, that's not first impression. The first impression was pretty good. It was interesting, but good.
So are you all on the same team, or are you representatives of different teams?
We're
Different
all,
teams.
Different
We're
teams.
we're all on the same team, but also like we split up into 3 teams. Like we're one big team that split up into 3.
Ah,
Yeah.
So it wasn't like one like 10 coders coding
Yeah.
at once.
We were split up into 3 different competition teams, but altogether we're all freshman field middle school robotics.
Yeah.
so what are these 3 teams?
We have Anchorbots, Gator Gears, and Wally B, all of around the same amount of members.
Now, is everybody in this group like all established robotics students, or were these teams like new teams, or how did this all come about? How did
There
these
were-
teams come
So
about?
we had some like people like, for example, like we had some like newer people. We had majority like a newer people, and we had like a lot of older people too that did this before.
So we had some rookie members and some members that have been in robotics in the past.
So there was 2 movie teams and 1 team that's actually had experience, and that team was the Anchorbots. The other 2 teams had some members that were experienced and some members that weren't. So that was like a difficult challenge for our team.
The Anchorbots were called the Anchorbots before this season. We used to go by the Husky Super Dabbers, but with the addition of new team members, we decided to vote on a new name.
And the rest of us were just rookies on a team of rookies. Nobody on my team had ever done robotics before.
How do you guys deal with that? Having one veteran team, so to speak, and then 2 rookie teams. Did you guys help each other out at all, or were you guys pretty much 3 separate teams at competition?
We helped each other out a lot, like helping us, like if we had something with like code, building, or business, another person or another team would go and help. like rookie or like a professional, you could say.
For the coding team, the coaches help teach everyone at the same time. And so we all learn together. And then if we ever needed help, some of the veteran members helped us with what we were struggling with.
We always helped at competition because we got to know each other, not just as like on the team, but as friends, and really got to know each other. So we didn't like the thought of anyone struggling. So if they were on our team or the other teams, we were all friends and we all helped each other regardless of where we were at. Because at the end of the day, we're all representing WBMS Robotics.
Competition, we would be cheering each team on because we're all just one big team, like one big family.
Did you guys get to go on any cool field trips or anything like that this year?
We went on a semi truck, and we also went to
The U of
like
M
yeah,
Robotics building.
the U of M robotics building where we got like in the semi we got to test out like games and like stuff to do with like coding and engineering.
And we used that to see how robotics can play out in the broader world.
What was your favorite part about the STEMI truck?
I would say like all of it was really good. I don't think one was better than the other because they're all equally good.
Also good because it was all interactive, so like it wasn't like you just got to see and you didn't get to try it out yourself.
I really like the there was a VR set where you could take the jaw with your fingers, and it was like really cool. You could see other people's jaws too, and it was like kind of chaotic, but it was really cool.
I also liked the crane game because you could drive it all by yourself. I also liked trying to flip it over.
I know.
There were a very wide variety of different games, so if you didn't like one game, you would probably like one of the other. And it was fun to skip class.
What about the robotics building tour that you were just talking about? What was cool there? What was interesting there? What did you like best about that?
So we got to see a lot of robots and prototypes, and it was honestly really fun to see what we could do in college.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
One of my favorite parts was learning about how they would test the robots that they built. They talked about how they would test like walking ability on different types of like ground.
It was cool to see the different branches of all the different things you can do with robotics. Like there were people who were trying to find things that were underwater, and other people who were working with arms to build things, which was really good.
So outside of just building robots and going on field trips, did you ever have experiences where you shared your experiences with other people?
Yeah. Robotics. There wasn't really a planned booth of it, but me and Ellie, she's not here right now, we kind of created this little area where people could ask questions about robotics in general, and we could answer them. We had a notebook set up and everything. We walked around asking people if they had questions about it. So yeah.
One other event was the family fun night where we got to show the district what we do in robotics, and
We visited a couple of classes. We visited the magnet class and we showed them our finished robot. And we visited a couple 6th grade science classes and told them about robotics and encouraged them to join next year.
We also had a trunk or treat event where we had like a haunted house and we gave out candy.
we had a bite of robotics, which is our own event created by the Anchorbots, but we are very excited from all the help we got with running it from all the other teams as well, where we got to show our robot. We sold $1 concessions and got to had a little Lego We Do station where people could learn some of the code of that, and a Lego free gift.
For the Bite of Robotics, we had a charity donation of a bunch of items and Legos to try and help I don't remember the
Foster closet.
the foster closet, and we helped get the items for them.
Well, obviously there's a competition involved in this whole robotics thing, right?
Yes.
So how many competitions did you go to this year?
We ended up going to 3 different competitions, 2 qualifiers and 1 state's competition.
Did all 3 teams or?
Only one team went to all 3, but
Bummer.
everyone went to 2 at least.
Okay, but everybody did get 2. Well, let's talk about the first event then. Did you all go to the same event?
Yes.
Oh,
And where was that event?
it was
Robot.
Was the event what you expected it to be?
Not at all.
No, it was not anything. I
There were
expected.
so many people. It was very chaotic yet organized. I really wasn't expecting so much. I was kind of expecting to just play our robot one time and then leave.
And the pit area was very confusing for me.
At the beginning, at the beginning, it was really confusing, the pit area and like the scheduled, how we had scheduled competitions. But as like we kept going, I kind of got the hang of it.
How did each of your teams do at that event?
We didn't do that well. Not all. All of us didn't do that
Since
well.
our team was a newbie team for the Walibi, I was expecting a little bit worse, but it was actually pretty good.
Our team really tried hard. And honestly, like we were all newbies and we all tried our best.
Our team was kind of in like the middle of the crowd, but that was because we had some really good teammates. Because during this specific event, we had teams for each of the rounds. So we didn't do that great, but we learned a lot about our robot and what not to do.
Even the Anchorbots, a team that had some members that had been in robotics for a long time, didn't do the greatest. But we learned from our experience at the competition, and we learned that we should probably go in with more strategy.
What was the best part about that competition?
I would also
The ending.
We danced
Yes.
and we had fun. It was nice seeing everyone and being with all my friends for a day and learning about the event. I would have known what to expect at the next event.
Well, that's a good segue because you said you had a second event, right?
Yeah, we learned,
So what did you do between the two events? What types of changes did each of your teams make?
we made we adjusted our autonomous. We added to our autonomous code to scan a cone and like park it in the plug spot.
The Wall team actually tried their best to change it, and I actually think that the robot that we got for the second event was much better than the first one because our claw was a lot better.
With our experience in the robot game, we realized that our chassis was a little hard to maneuver with. So we shrunk down the size of it.
And how did the second event go? Was it better than the first event?
It was a lot better than
Kind
the
of.
first.
We had a really good we talked to the judges. We had a good presentation. We did around the same in the event though.
Yeah, I think a lot of other teams also had a lot more time to prepare. So
Yeah,
I mean, we still did our best, and I think our robots did better.
I
But other people's robots also did better. So
I think that our team, the Wallabies, place was a little worse than first time, but something that was better was our engineering notebook, because we stayed more focused on the engineering notebook, because from the first event we learned that robotics isn't just about robots, it's about what you learn from there too.
Did you have fun at that event? What was the best part of that event?
we had a lot of fun. I would say probably the best part was just being able to walk around and see all the other teams and stuff, see how they did. I think that was pretty fun.
Personally, I thought the best part of the event was when we got the Connect Award and advanced to states.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was also good, but
No,
we had
that
a
was
lot more fun.
We also had fun singing Let It Go and losing our voices too.
Oh yeah, I
Well,
lost my
that was kind of your fault.
I lost my voice early
That song
on.
is
We had
torture.
fun getting to work together and spending the day together as friends, but also as teammates. We got to just have fun all together.
Well, we did hear something about a state championship, Anchorbots, right? That's who went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that experience? What was that like?
So experience. It was really fun to be able to go to states. We got to stay in the hotel, in the same hotel. Most of us got to stay in the same hotel. And we got hang out and work on the robot a little more.
It's 12 a.m.
Yeah.
One thing about the experience was it was a lot different from the qualifiers, and I feel like some of us didn't really expect it to be how it was. For one thing, it was a lot bigger and there were so many more people. Even the pit area was a lot bigger and there were a lot more teams to see.
Leading into the state championship, you had mentioned that you had made adjustments to your robot between the two qualifiers. Did you do anything different with your robot for the state championship, or was it just the same robot?
We did we changed the chat. We changed basically everything. We had a new claw and basically knew everything.
Basically, the only thing we kept from the original design was the arm.
So kind of wrapping up, I'd love to hear what you learned this year or what you liked this year. What are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
What did I learned a lot this year, and also my thoughts on the season was it was pretty fun, and I'll probably do it again. Like, yeah, and also I learned this season like how to like do like block coding of Java and like how to kind of code a robot, how to be a Soulicious professional as well.
Honestly, it was a pretty fun last season for the 8th graders, to say the least.
Yeah, I learned so much about coding and about being on a robotics team. I mean, I'd never gone to an event. I've never learned how to do any of the stuff that I did this season. So I think I will probably end up continuing into high school. And I think it's a great way for students to start robotics instead of starting in high school.
Gracious professionalism. Yeah, that's a bit robotics too.
I learned, well, at the beginning before I joined robotics, I knew nothing about building, but now I know like quite a few things about building. Like before I didn't even know there were like different types of screws. I just thought there was just one type of screw and different sizes. But I learned that there were like different types of screws and different types of things you can use to build.
So I heard some of you say you're thinking about potentially coming back to robotics. What about the ones I haven't heard from?
I'm definitely planning on coming back next year. It'll be my last year next year.
This is my last year of FTC, but I'm gonna continue on into high school.
This is also my last year of FTC, but I will also move on to the high school.
This is my last year at FTC, and I'm also going to be moving on to the high school team. And big shout out to them, the Atomigators, for helping us, mentoring us a little bit, and further going into coding, helping us with building, or even just in general business related questions.
I'm thinking about continuing into high school. It's a good experience.
Do you have any other thoughts about this season?
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun.
I think it was a good end for the 8th graders FTC season.